Hello, all and sundry. Welcome back to the show. Uh, it's me, your host, Jackson. I'm sure you're all very happy and excited to see me. I mean, you did show up after all, so either you're here by accident, in which case, welcome. I'm sorry, but if you're here on purpose, hello. And joining me today is Peter of Gonna Go For It fame. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing fine. Busy as always, extremely busy the last few weeks, but yeah, doing well. And a happy new year to everyone watching.
Yes, Happy New Year. Peter, you're right. It does come up correct on
Yeah,
on
you
YouTube. That's so
you
weird. Okay, whatever.
YouTube is funny. I mean,
YouTube is very funny.
when I first pulled up the show, it had a thumbnail and then it didn't have a thumbnail anymore. And when I linked it on Twitter, it also didn't have a thumbnail. It's really weird. YouTube is messing up, I guess. But oh
Yeah, I
well.
don't know. We were just for everyone who's wondering, we were uh when Peter posted the video to Twitter, it showed last week's thumbnail instead of this week's, and we're not really sure why, but if you look on YouTube, it shows this week's thumbnail. So it's weird. Whatever. At any rate,
For you, it showed last week's
hello.
thumbnail. Oh, that's
It
that's
shows, yeah,
that's
it
weird
shows me
because
last week's thumbnail
on my Twitter it didn't show a thumbnail at all. It showed the blank thing that you get when you haven't
with
uploaded a
the
thumbnail yet.
seahorse.
No. The what is it? Uh, the screen with the three dots in it. I think.
Really? It doesn't even
The,
show the seahorse?
no.
Huh.
Wait a
Okay.
minute.
Well,
Wait a minute.
anyways,
Did Elon Musk take over YouTube? Do we know? Can anyone check real quick?
I hope not, because otherwise we're about to get inundated um with National Socialist Party videos. So
Mm.
uh,
Well, we may have to do a show every day because of the misinformation that's going to flood YouTube if he takes over.
yeah. All right, let's see. So today we got DM pour out one vegan nog for my homies. Wait. He's just getting more elaborate. Dragon Spartan 90 official, Omar Zach, Eddie McCoy, Jamie E. Icarus, Cell, Vesta Freya, Trail Mix, Alex Markel. Hello. Hi all. So
nice,
DM,
nice to see.
you saw the correct thumbnail. Ah,
Yeah,
okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
it's a weird thing. It could be that in certain parts of the world it will show the correct thumbnail, and in other parts it won't. It's YouTube is strange, a strange beast.
Yeah.
YouTube.
So the the Salem hypothesis, for anyone who is not familiar, is the idea. Well, there are kind of two versions of it. The one is that if a person with a degree, with a terminal degree in academia, is opposed to evolution, they are most likely going to be an engineer. And the second version, the strong version of that, is uh, that people who get engineering degrees are predisposed to being creationists. Now, either way, engineers are more likely to be anti-evolution, and and the reason I picked that was the guy who's being interviewed by Eric Hovind today, or Hovind the Lesser, as he's also lovingly known,
Yeah.
is an engineer.
See,
I've never heard of him, Stuart Burgess.
and I got that
Go ahead.
completely wrong. The Salem hypothesis. I thought that was "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live," but maybe that was in a different
I mean, it's
time.
close.
That was a different
Yeah,
time altogether.
slightly different context. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. In general, the people I tend to see who with degrees who are creationists are either engineers, philosophers, or physicists. Those are like the three main camps of academics who I see are anti-evolution. Not biologists, oddly enough. Can't figure out why, but anyway.
Mm. because they tend to know what they're talking about. Oh wait.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just read a really good book by a physicist recently, named Sean Carroll, not to be confused with the multiple biologist named Sean Carroll. Uh, but the book was titled the Big Picture, and it's about uh, it talks about the like origin and the evolution of the universe. It talks about the origin and evolution of life. It talks about consciousness, epistemology, morals, or moral and ethical theory. It's a really really good book. I highly recommend. And of course, he's accepts evolution, everything. Uh, so
He's he's a great guy.
it's really good.
I was lucky enough to meet him, and the first thing he did
Yeah.
was play a practical joke. The bad thing is I can't remember what he did because he had me completely flustered because he was doing a show with Arn, and
Uh
Arn
huh.
has this perfect ability to go get a drink right when a guest is going to show up. So I was there, and when Sean Carroll showed up, and yeah, he's a really funny guy. It's really really nice guy to talk to. So
From the shows that I've seen, because he's done interviews, debates, and stuff. He seems like the kind of professor who I feel like every student would want to get
yes,
because he seems
definitely.
very passionate and
Hmm.
engaged. He's a great orator, So yeah, that's the kind of professor I would like to be. I want to be, someone who is very approachable and charismatic, and he definitely seems both of those. So
Yes,
yeah.
definitely, definitely.
But anyways, so Stuart Burgess, on the other hand, I don't know about.
Eric Eric
I don't
Hovind
think he has
Eric Hovind definitely
Eric.
isn't. I haven't watched the
Yeah,
video, but
I
there
haven't
was
either.
a part that I heard, and maybe I misheard, but I thought that was really, really cringe. But maybe I misheard. It was
Yeah.
he made a suggestion to people. Well, we might
Oh
get to
no.
that. I don't know.
Well, I have not. So I haven't watched this whole video. I mean, I never watched the videos all the way through that we do. The reason I picked this one was Eric Hovind keeps posting clips of it to Twitter,
Hmm.
and so I'll see a clip and he'll say something really dumb. The Burgess will, and then I'll
And
quote
then
tweet it and be like, "No, that's dumb."
you will respond to that clip. I seen you respond to pretty much every clip he posted.
Yeah, they're all really bad, and so I don't have high hopes for the rest of the video. But each of
Mm.
those is like a 5 second clip, and so I don't know what the whole thing is about. I mean, other than it's like it's about evolution, uh, or he's gonna argue why evolution not real, evolution bad, it's evolution.
Hmm.
Um,
Obviously.
yeah, there's the book I'm reading right now, which is also very very good. It's very dense. Um, is titled "The War on Science" by Sean Otto. If you guys haven't read it or haven't heard of it, I highly recommend it. And it's it is about it's the different attacks on science. So it's like the history of science, and then it talks about the ways that science is attacked. So it's attacked by, in one sense, the like journalists.
Hmm.
It's attacked by journalists in one sense because um, they can be taught that, like, we have to put everything on equal playing. We can't give preference to one side over the other. We have to make it look like there's a debate or whatever, controversy, and that of course is detrimental to science communication. um then of course there's creationists, and he talks about the fossil fuel industry and how it funds like climate change denial propaganda. So it's a really good book. I really recommend it. Very dense, very
Hmm.
dense. So, um, no Nestling for right now. Maybe he'll show up. Or maybe Immutable will show up. We're not entirely sure. Uh, but in
We
lieu of that, I
we do have
guess we're
Hovind.
ready.
He's here. I know. I checked.
Yay! That makes me so glad.
Yeah.
Oh, I also forgot to say, I was for the first time, Matt Dillahunty and I were on the same show. So I was on the line, or the hang up, which is part of the line, I think,
Yes.
last night. Uh, so if you guys want to see Matt and me in the same room or on the same screen, I guess, go check that out. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time. All right. Anything you want to add? Or are we ready to
No,
start?
no. Let's uh, jump right in, as you always say.
All right. Let's
Okay.
jump right in.
Arrogant skeptics have claimed
I
that
can't hear
if
it.
God did exist,
You can't hear it.
he's a
I could not
really
hear it.
Hold on. Why can't you hear it?
Product of my upbringing, perhaps.
No, no, no. It is entirely my fault. So the people could hear it, you couldn't.
Oh, I just
So,
can't hear it.
yeah.
Okay.
So, by the way,
All right,
I
can we restart?
think I nailed it on the pause. I'm not entirely sure, but that is that. Yeah. For anyone who wants to take a screenshot, this is your time to do it. So,
Oh.
okay, let's go.
poor designer. Is God a poor designer? And this argument is actually called the teleological argument. Big word, I know. Some of you will remember a term called the teleological argument, which is an argument for the existence of God because the world exhibits order and unity and complexity and design. So the teleological argument is an argument against the assumption of the existence of a creator God. And it's based on this reasoning that if an omnipotent deity would create an organism that had perceived suboptimal designs, well, then that deity must not be a good designer or must not exist at all.
Can we pause for a moment?
Ladies.
So, yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable argument. If God is the tinkerer or the engineer who designed not just life, the universe, literally everything, then obviously that designer has some degree of power and intelligence and is able to wield it effectively to create all these things. But the problem is when you look at life itself, life is extraordinarily wasteful, right? It's not just the things that are like I'm sure he's going to talk about the appendix and things like that. Where like, okay, you have these bad designs or the recurrent laryngeal nerve of giraffes, really of vertebrates, where the nerve in fish, it just goes, straight from the brain to the larynx. But for us, it has to go from your neck all the way down to your heart and then all the way back up to your brain. And that's way circuitous compared to what you would need, which it just needs to be like from here to here, not down all the way and then back up. That's totally unnecessary, and that's a very obvious argument against intelligent design. And really, I've never heard a good argument. I've actually heard very few arguments even about this. They usually just kind of go, blah, 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 don't worry about it. The few creationist arguments I've heard from regarding this are like it wasn't even really an argument. It was just they said something to the effect of and RJ and I talked about this in the book. I can't remember offhand, but it's like, oh well, that's the way that the embryology it's a result of the embryonic development of the organism. It's like, well, yes, but that doesn't tell us why it's that way. That just tells us how you go from point A to point B in embryology. But most of the food that we eat is lost as heat, so we don't even metabolize most of it. It just gets passed out of us. We're really not very good at doing metabolism. We do metabolism well enough to survive. That's all evolution requires, that you do it well enough to survive. Evolution does not require that like you metabolize 100% of your food, right? That's just not a thing that we need. We just need to metabolize enough to keep us going.
You just gave us the reason why we have young Earth creationists, because evolution only requires you just enough to survive.
Yes,
Sorry.
right, and yeah,
that's why we have people like him. So one thing I did want to say about the laryngeal nerve, I used to be, and this will be very scary to a lot of people. I used to be an electrician. If you saw what I recently did with my thumb you'd be very
Yeah.
scared if I were to work on your house, but I was actually pretty good at that. Um,
Okay.
so one thing I never did when I had to go to someone's house and install the power lines for electricity, I wouldn't go from the power that is supplied to your house, then run it through the neighbor's yard, around his house, back to your house, and then start installing it inside your. I would never do that.
Right.
For some stupid reason, that just seems foolish. But yet, here's
Right.
God doing pretty much that exact same thing, which leaves it
Yeah.
open for damage along the way, and then you've got a
Hmm.
problem.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're looking at, look at a giraffe, right? The
Mm-hmm.
giraffe's neck is like 15 feet long. So the nerve has to be like 30 feet long to go from larynx all the way down, back up. It's got to be like 30
Yes.
feet. And then think about sauropod dinosaurs like Supersaurus, which have a 40-foot long neck.
Yes.
We're talking about an 80-plus foot nerve. You know how
Mm-hmm.
easy it would be to break that?
Also, keep in
It's
mind,
ridiculous.
do you know how giraffes fight by any chance?
Oh yeah, they swing their necks
They
and beat
swing
each
their
other.
necks. So, yeah,
Yeah.
might not be a great way to run a nerve through the neck, which they basically use as swords to fight each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um yeah, you're right. It is really silly. Also interestingly, as a result of the nerve being so long and there being this long disconnect, giraffes are as a result not very vocal. So it takes so long to go for like I'm going to make a sound to go from brain all the way down, all the way back up that they really don't do sounds all that much. And
which
so
is,
sauropod dinosaurs presumably would have been in the same boat. They probably wouldn't have made that many sounds overall because it would have taken
yeah.
the the signal forever to go from the brain back to the larynx.
If you've ever
So
been on StreamYard, every once in a while you get this weird effect where you get a delay between your voice and so it's going to be there's going to be a delay. I think that might have been how sauropods conversed,
right.
constantly interrupting each other, and then oh no, go ahead, oh and yeah, so yeah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, there would be like a slight delay between when you think to say something and then when you actually end up saying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a pretty clear example. There are lots of other ones like, horses still have toes. Like the splint toes on horses still exist. They're very tiny,
Mm-hmm.
but they still start developing. Um, our inner ear bones start out in our jaw and then move upwards because we're descended from the mammal-like reptiles, the therapsids, that went through that transition where they incorporated the jaw bones into the inner ear. That's also why the platypus, their ear is way down close to the jaw because the bones haven't moved all the way up. Or the ear hasn't moved back, I should say. Um, we develop like six pharyngeal arteries, but only three of them actually make it through development because half of them just stop developing. They're like, yeah, nah, we're not gonna do that anymore. And there's lots of stuff like that. There are lots of really weird, torturous developmental paths that organisms take. Flatfish start off as bilaterally symmetric and then become asymmetrical. Um, metamorphosis in general is like, why do you have to do metamorphosis? What would be the point of that? Why not just small to big, right? Why do we have to go through this caterpillar stage? Um, I don't know. There's just lots and lots and lots of really the things that creationists often point to is like, wow, this is so complicated. Is like, yeah, it's overcomplicated. There's no reason to make it this complicated. Oh, and
No.
the last thing I did want to say before I let Eric continue is yes. So teleology is the idea that like the universe is ordered towards an objective. Like the hand is made for grasping. Well, the hand isn't made for grasping. So there's not a teleology for the hand. There is a teleonomy. Teleonomy is the appearance of design. And that's what Darwin talked about in Origin of Species, is the appearance of design. So hands, are descended from paws, little smaller grasping hands on our or smaller grasping appendages on our shrew-like ancestors. But that was under natural selection, which is unguided and unintelligent. It was not because of God just saying, "Ah, it'd be really cool if these monkeys had hands," or something like
Hmm.
that. So
It's
anyway,
funny you
also
should.
fun. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's funny you should say that the hand isn't made for grasping. I found that out the hard way when handling a saber saw a couple of weeks ago.
Uh, yeah,
Don't grasp a saber
yeah.
saw the wrong way because it's not meant to be.
Smitty, yeah, the name for when the young of a species occupy a different niche than the adults to avoid competition. Yeah, niche partitioning. So niche partitioning is that, or niche differentiation. So, yeah. Yeah, caterpillars are designed to eat, butterflies and moths are designed to mate. Yep, exactly. Um, all right, anyway, we can let him go.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, game on. May the best designed argument win. See what I did there?
If you
I
got
don't.
99.9% in your maths exam,
That's actually the problem with creationism. Designed arguments in order to come up with an explanation. You don't design an argument. You get an argument based on the facts. That's how science works. So he got that wrong too.
you would be ecstatic. But if you're designing a spacecraft and you got 99.9%, it's a total disaster. Evolution is actually bad
What does that
for
even mean?
science because
Can I just vent a little here? So
Okay.
now we've got people telling us that there is a God using footage of people dying because of a design flaw. I don't think that was a good move. I mean, that was the Challenger exploding for people who weren't aware of what they were looking at. Not something you would bring up in a video like this, I think.
Well,
If
that's what
you
he's saying, right? He's saying that, like, if you're off a little bit with some technology, it's just not going to work at all, which I don't think that's true. I think that depends, doesn't it? Like, if you have a computer and like 99% of it's there, but maybe you're missing like a couple keys, your computer's still going to function.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really I don't really understand when he says that. I'm not really sure what he means. Like, it's kind of
I
it's a
think
nebulous argument. So.
I think you just summed up how I work. Missing a few keys,
Missing a few keys.
but still able to function. That's how a lot of people would describe me.
Oh.
Okay. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
if you really believe in evolution, you wouldn't bother to investigate the design of things like the human knee joint because you think, well, it should
Why?
be badly designed. But as a creationist,
What?
I'm not held back by that negative thinking. And I've done some bio-inspired design of joints like the knee joint. And it's because of my creation worldview, it's helped me with my science. It gives me the expectation of seeing brilliant design.
Can we pause for a moment?
Welcome.
What does that
What?
even mean? If
Yeah.
you expect it to be, you wouldn't investigate it because you expect it to be badly designed. It's not the exact opposite of what doctors do. They investigate things because they're badly designed, because they break. Like, isn't the fact that you have to build replacement knees evidence that it's not well designed in the first place? So we have to input technology into it to make it better? Like, I'm so confused by this argument.
Well, it's because God made us the most intelligent species on the planet, Jackson, so we could fix his design flaws. That's I don't know. I have no clue where they're going with this argument. It just doesn't make
it's
sense.
It's like, the eye is so complex. That's why I have to wear glasses.
Yeah.
It's so perfectly designed,
Yes.
except, for the glasses. Okay. Well, that was Satan, I'm sure, somehow.
Yeah, that was all because of the fall. And
Yes.
and
Right.
creationists hit their head during the fall, and that's probably what explains everything.
They fell off the stepladder. Yeah.
Yeah. This look at the screen. Another cringe. Creation today, a community learning together. No. No, against learning together. That would be because they won't learn. They do the opposite. We already know this, so we don't have to learn anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we continue?
Yeah. Yeah.
To the Creation Today show, where we bring together interviews with experts and solid Bible teaching. Your host, Eric Hovind, affirms the ultimate authority of God's Word, the truth of creation,
Hey,
and why.
there's Paul. There's Paul.
That's Apologia. Well,
There's Paul. What is Paul doing here?
if any, did Paul become a creationist? Did I miss anything? Is he one of the experts that? Wait, what?
Wait, maybe, I mean, he is an expert on creationism. That is true.
Yes. Well, you could consider him an expert on several other things as well, because Paul actually does his research, which he's well known for, and he's got several people helping him doing his research. So when he does a rebuttal of a creationist claim, you can be sure that he brings you the correct facts. So that's why his channel boomed. But it's really weird to see Paul come up in this as. So it's good to watch Eric Hovind because he has Apologia on.
Yeah, I mean, he did say experts on creation, and that does include Paul, technically. I guess that includes RJ and me too, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. RJ.
Fascinating.
RJ,
Anyway.
wasn't he the altar boy of evolution?
Yes, the altar boy of evolution. Yeah, you're right.
I recall making a meme out of that where Hovind has this small altar boy in full Catholic gear by the hand, and yeah. That was a fun time. Fun times. Altar boy creation. Okay, let's continue.
Matters to you.
Hey, if you're new to the Creation Today show, we are on a mission to disciple the world one person at a time. And right now, that person is you. To all our partners, thank you guys. I love seeing you guys on here. Jonathan, great to have you on here. Joe, good to see you. George, great to have you on here. William and Thomas and Shane and Ruth and everybody else on here. Andrew, great to have you.
Just like me,
you guys
for
here.
real.
I'm so glad you guys are part of the community. Listen, guys, I don't have a number yet. I don't have a total for what our outreach has been this month. I love to give that number to you. But I got to tell you, 5. Man, the social webs out there have been busy. Rachel is...
So, in all fairness, he doesn't get a lot of views. So...
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He's not... I mean, even with his, like...
It's not a 3-digit number, I think.
Right, and his dad gets, like... Well, I don't know if he does as much anymore, but... I don't know. I feel like Hovind the Senior could bring in some views. I don't think Eric does as much. And I feel like part of the problem with Eric is that he's kind of always been distant from everyone. He's always been a speaker, like at people, not like Kent, who actually interacts with people.
Yes.
Eric doesn't really do that. And I think that's part of the problem with Eric. That's probably why he's not as popular as his dad is. He doesn't do... I think there's like there's a handful of like live debates that Eric ever did. Not very many.
In all fairness, he did used to do these things on Facebook, and then he would interact with the people in commenting on the videos, on the live videos that he did. He once, so this is how he got into talking to Paul in the first place, because that led to, I think, to a conversation that he had with Paul, which was basically a one-on-one. He did answer one of my questions at some point, and I tried to get him to do a conversation. Closest I got was one of the people who work for him who said, "Well, you can actually put in an application to have Eric be on your show." And then she gave me an email address, to which I emailed, lined out what I had in mind, and never heard anything again.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, so
that tracks.
Yeah, it
not surprising.
It doesn't work. I think if Eric wants to get more traction, yeah, what he should do is actually talk to people.
Yeah,
but he won't, because
no harm in that.
I don't think that he can defend his position very well.
No, I don't think he has his dad's patter down, you know.
So. I think he has that down, but that would just make him a carbon copy of Hovind the Elder, and yeah, people wouldn't be interested in that. He would have to bring something new to the table. Granted,
I mean, that could also,
he has better production value.
He certainly does. That is very true.
All his videos have sound and things, stuff that you would love to have. Because Hovind a couple of days ago was doing a video where announcing a debate, a 3-minute video with no sound.
Ruh-roh.
I mean, this is why you should believe in evolution, because then things get better. And it's not that after it's been 2015. It's been 8 years now. Coming up 9 years that he's been out of jail doing these videos, and he still can't get audio when he goes live.
Well, he's waiting for his computer to evolve.
Yes.
So, Immutable, if you want to be in here, I sent you a link on Twitter. Feel free to join us.
Yeah, he's right, though. He doesn't have the same charisma as Kent. He's kind of a whiny little boy.
Yeah. All right, we can keep going. $5. Jake Nelson for $5. Eric Hovind is the Jacob Dylan of YEC. The Jacob Dylan. I don't know that reference. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Jacob Dylan.
Now you have to post who Jacob Dylan is, because, I mean, I know his brother, Bob. Heard of him.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. All right.
I don't know.
Sorry. I didn't know. All right, we can keep going.
Over there in the office, and she's telling us stories about the comments, and I gotta tell you, sometimes I think she's having a little too much fun to call this actual work. Okay, Rachel, keep doing it, keep having fun, but we should question whether or not you should get paid, I think. Hey, to those of you who are only connected to us on social media, or the television show, or the podcast, we would love to be more than just a casual date with you guys. Okay, so whenever you're ready to take this relationship,
that was the cringe part that I was talking about earlier. He doesn't want to have us as a casual date. He wants to date us on a regular basis.
Oh, well, he can't afford me. I'm an expensive hoe.
Yeah, I mean, and it gets worse from here.
To the next level, I'd love for us to be able to, stay in touch via email. I know
what you missed there, because
how does this man have children?
And what you missed there is because I paused at the wrong moment. He wants to take our relationship to the next level. No, Eric, no, not gonna happen. No, I mean,
Smitty, he wants some under the shirt, over the bra action. Very true. Very true. But again, I'm too expensive for him. He can't afford me.
Yeah. You have to wine and dine us, Eric, if you want to do that. Take us out to an expensive restaurant. I mean, book a movie.
Eric is not my type. There's too much going on with Eric. He's not my type.
Yeah.
He would have to get me. I'd have to be pretty drunk before anything under the shirt over the bra happens.
Drunk
Anyway, please stop
and
explaining
high.
this metaphor.
Drunk and high on several substances.
Oh, it's a serious commitment, but we're ready when you are. If you ever want to join us, please come on over to creationtoday.org/sign up and let us stay in touch with you. And it also makes it so easy for you to stay in touch and reach out to us via email. So creationtoday.org.
I do not want to reach out to Eric. Sorry. Nope, not going to happen. Nope.
Eric has got too many daddy issues for you. You know, I don't mind someone who's got daddy issues, Alex Markel. You know, everyone's got issues. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No, Eric's problem is I don't know. I don't like it. He's too nasally. He's too nasally and whiny. I feel like he would nag a lot.
And
do you get that, Peter? Do you get that feeling? He would nag a lot.
He's a bit too full of himself.
He sure is. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Eric. You're just not my type. No. Even if you wined and dined me, I don't think we'd work out.
No.
I'll give you one date, but that's it. You just get one.
If he can come up with a good restaurant, that is. Otherwise, that first date isn't even going to happen.
Yeah.
I'll take some good food from Eric. More than happy to do that.
Yeah. You know, I'd let him pay for a steak dinner.
Yeah. And then I would tell him we don't have chemistry.
I'd rather Eric than Kent, though. Okay, yes, Robert, but that's a low bar. Come on. That's a low bar.
In all fairness, I wouldn't stand a chance with Kent because I'm too old. You have to be pretty young.
No. No. Oh man. Okay. Anyways.
/sign up. We'd love to have a closer relationship with you.
Sorry. Sign up with love, having a close relationship. Eric, I don't think you realize what you're doing right here. I mean, this could be so misunderstood by a lot of people. Never mind.
Hey, we titled today's show Reverse Engineering, the Genius of God's Design. And to make our case, we're bringing in a genius designer. Our guest today is none other than Professor Stuart Burgess. Now, if I read his entire bio, it would take up the entire show. So let me give you some highlights. Professor Burgess has held academic posts at Bristol University, Cambridge University, and Liberty University here in the U.S. At Bristol University, he was appointed the head of his department 3 times. He worked for the European Space Agency. He was the lead designer for a solar array on the world's largest civilian Earth observation spacecraft. And he also led the design and the testing of a chain drive for the British Olympic cycling team, allowing them to do something that they could not do back in 1776. The British beat us, winning a record 6 gold medals at the 2016 Rio Olympics. He's published over...
Yeah, they couldn't do that in 1776 because there were no Olympic Games in 1776.
Savage, Pharaoh's favorite Clovis Point Cobra. For $5, my response to Eric's courtship request: I do desire we may be better strangers.
Yeah.
Oof. That's pretty savage. And thank you for the $5. Thank you and Jake Nelson for the $5. I appreciate it. So far, those are all cool. Glad he worked at Cambridge and Bristol and Liberty. That's cool and all, but like, I'm hearing no zoology, no biology, no evolution.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
I'm hearing.
Summing up all of that makes him a perfect candidate to talk about evolution because he has no clue what he's talking about.
Yeah, we couldn't find someone who's like a biologist. We found a guy who does all this cool engineering stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
is it's true. It's cool. Um, okay. And like, I'm sorry, but and uh, none of this is relevant. None of it.
Nope.
Sorry. I don't care that he's good at building solar arrays or bicycles or whatever. They're utterly irrelevant to evolution and zoology and botany and microbiology. None of these, none of the things he's done have any relevance. So I don't know why he's brought on as well. I mean, I know why he's brought on. He's brought on because there are not a lot of creationists, especially in academia,
And
and this is the best Eric could do.
And there's another reason, because they want to point out that in order to be a creationist, you don't have to be stupid. You can even be brilliant in one
Yeah,
specific field.
absolutely.
I'm not going to take anything away from the guy who's the guest here in what he's doing
Mm.
in his field. He might be a brilliant scientist. Still
Yeah.
doesn't make him qualified to talk about evolution, even though I'm not qualified to talk about evolution. But I do think that if I look at the facts and if I look at what we have figured out so far, I'm a little bit more qualified than this guy might be. Even though I haven't studied it in depth as I don't know, people like Jackson.
I've looked at it once or twice, a
Yeah.
handful of times.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the narrative. We have a brilliant guy, and he believes in creation. So therefore, you should too. Because if he can be wrong, you can be wrong. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah.
I think it's 180 or more scientific papers on the science of design in engineering and nature.
Cool.
He's received several national awards for his engineering designs.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Professor Stuart Burgess. Professor Burgess,
Cool.
thank you for joining me today.
It's good to be with you, Eric.
It's a cool looking jacket you got on there. What is that?
Yeah, I've got my British Olympic cycling team tracksuit on. One of the conditions for working for the team was that they give me some of their tracksuits, so it's nice to be wearing it. I should also
You're rubbing it in
Cool.
right now, aren't you? That's what you're doing. You knew you were coming on to an American show, and you thought, let me just rub this in just a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't mention we also beat the Americans in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, I was going to leave that one unsaid.
I've just finished the chain. This is for the Paris Olympics. And
so
we think we're going to beat you for that as well.
Okay, so seriously, you've literally got a design that you looked at the way a cycling works, and you literally designed something to give just that slight edge, that slight advantage over everybody else.
Yeah, and there's so
Cool.
many things you can do in engineering. It's a lot of work, and even with cycling, I get inspiration from creation.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us. Like, part of me just says, you're Professor Stuart Burgess. Part of me says, I just want to sit back and learn. You be the professor here and teach. Okay, go into a story about that. What do you learn about cycling? I mean, we're talking about reverse engineering today. It is the genius of God's design.
Pause
So
for a
you're
moment, please. No, Robert Madewell. He's an actual professor. I don't know if you missed the part where Eric was laying out his CV, but Stuart Burgess has been like faculty at Bristol, at Cambridge, and at Liberty University. So no, he's definitely like an actual doctor. He's not like Kent Hovind, who paid for a fake doctorate and never contributed to our understanding of the world at all. No, he's an actual doctor who has actual credentials. He's a smart guy. Like, there's no doubt about it. Stuart Burgess here is a smart guy.
Well, he is going to reverse engineer a bicycle based on creation.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he does that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I missed something, but Maybe God ordered Noah to build a bike first so he could get the materials to build a boat. I don't know.
The elephants got to come a long way, so it's easier for them to bike. So,
Yeah, I mean, as far as I
same
know,
for the penguins.
there wasn't a bicycle or anything close to it anywhere in the Bible. So I'm really curious as to where you got the reverse engineering from. Maybe T-Rex had bikes. That would be cool. T-Rex on bikes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see where you get that from.
Stealing from God to beat us in the Olympics. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I can't give you too many details, but one of the things is looking at human joints, because human joints have virtually no friction in them. So we're trying to copy that for cycling. Yeah.
Well, so
but I can't
is
go
that
into
the
any
only
more
hint
details.
we get, and now I got to go to the drawing board and figure it out for our team? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, is this technology? I mean, it's pretty serious, right? This is protected. Like you don't want one of your bikes to get stolen, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Too cool, man. Okay, so
can I just highlight that that's the first thing that comes to mind to Eric? You don't want to get your bike to be stolen, considering that pretty much his entire ministry. I don't know how did he get it? Oh yeah, stole it from Dad.
Well, you have to start somewhere, Peter. You can only steal at the beginning. After that, it's you can't steal anymore.
Yeah, no, you can steal more because you can. Let's say.
Well,
you want to make a 3D. No, hold on. Let's say you want to make a 3D movie, so you hire a guy, and you tell him that you're going to share the credits for the movie until you steal it and take it all.
Well, Peter, you're allowed to steal things until H-Bomber guy figures out that you're stealing, in which case he destroys your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's the rules. I don't make the rules. That's just the rules.
It's there should have been a I don't know, a commandment against stealing. That maybe that would have helped. I don't know.
I think I think he was borrowing. He was borrowing the idea, not really stealing. But anyway.
Yeah, ask the guy who made the what was the movie that he made?
Oh, was it Genesis Paradise Lost?
Yeah, Genesis Paradise Lost. Which I have, and I haven't paid for it. So I got
saw it in theaters.
I got it the creationist way.
The creationist way. You got it passed out by Ray Comfort?
Yeah, get it somewhere where you don't have to pay for it. Basically what Eric did. I thought that was fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, we can keep going.
Okay.
Tell us some stories of some things you've worked on. I know the working for the space agency, that had to be cool. For the cycling team, that had to be really neat. Tell us some stories, and then get into this, because we have this argument out there going, hey, we see poor design in the world today, and if there's a poor design, that means obviously God, if the God is some omnipotent being and knows everything, he's obviously not a good designer. So by the end of the show, I want us to actually tackle that subject as well, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the biggest projects I worked on, or one of the first most important ones, was when I was about 25, and I was the lead designer for a solar array deployment mechanism for the European Space Agency. And this project was a very big project. I remember the project manager saying, "Do you realize how much the whole project is?" And I said I didn't. He said it cost $2 billion. Then he said, "Do you realize if your solar array does not deploy within 50 minutes, then the whole mission is dead?" And I said, I didn't know that. And he said, if I could remember that for the rest of the project, he would really appreciate that. So I explained that to my team as well.
Yeah.
I remember on launch day, I felt absolutely terrified. I felt physically sick. I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And when the solar array actually worked, I just burst into tears. And it was a very emotional experience. It's one of the things they don't teach you at university, the emotion of design.
Yeah.
And I sometimes wish that atheists like Jerry Coyne and Richard Dawkins and others, if they could try and design something and see how difficult design is, if you actually try and design a system yourself.
Okay, let me jump in right here. So I
right.
do some designing myself. I design artwork for different channels. So I can at least confirm what he is saying, because there's a lot of emotion involved in this. If you see your stuff on a channel that you really support and someone you think is doing really great work, there's emotion involved in that. Every single time you see your own artwork with someone doing a great job, I get the emotion part. And I didn't need a God for that. And I'm an atheist. I do have that emotion. Right. And I know a ton of people who are atheists and are designing things in different ways. I mean, it's not just my artwork. I've designed furniture, scooters, bicycles, you name it, I've designed it. So yeah, that has nothing to do with being an atheist. You feel those same emotions. So don't even go there.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't even pretend that that's a thing.
Yeah, it is really weird to be like, oh, atheists don't know how hard designing is. I'm sure the atheist engineers out there do.
Yes.
We literally know an atheist engineer, you know? Like, I'm sure designing things is hard, and you feel a sense of accomplishment when it's done. Like, I felt a sense of accomplishment when my thesis was done. You know, I don't know. It's really weird. It's kind of like that weird thing creationists occasionally say with like, on Thanksgiving, who do you thank? The people around me, the people I know who have contributed to my life and been a part of it. Like that's who I'm thankful for. I don't know. I just think that's really weird.
And you could still consider being thankful being born in a part of the world where you don't have struggles like other people. So my best friend comes from Syria. He was thrown in jail by the government because he's a Christian. He was tortured for a year. I'm pretty thankful that I'm not in a country where stuff like that happens, because I've seen the scars, both physical scars and emotional scars. So there's a lot to be thankful for. Things that just happened by accident. I got born in a Western country where we don't have a lot of the trouble that other people around the world struggle with. I had food for my entire life, healthcare, stuff like that. So another thing where, no, there was no God involved, because if there was, there wouldn't be countries that don't have the things that I had when I grew up.
Yeah.
Or you must be really pissed off at some countries. Maybe that's it.
That's probably true. I think there are some biblical stories about that, I think. But at any rate.
Okay.
You realize it is so hard to plan everything, to get the performance. And then you realize design does not happen by chance.
And that really is.
Wait a second. Wait. Pause for a second. Wait. We're talking about the omnipotent, omniscient designer of the universe. Design is not hard for something that is omnipotent and omniscient, like definitionally. So I don't know what he means by this. I just don't know.
What would be hard is getting it wrong anyway, like the knee.
Yeah, that seems harder.
It could have been better designed. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Like, why are knees so prone to arthritis? Like, that seems like a design flaw.
And I'm going to refer to something that I struggle with myself. How about humans having a spine that wasn't designed for being bipedal, and therefore people struggling with back pains? So, yeah, God, great design there. You really nailed it there. Yeah. Every so often I need to go lie down for a month because that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great designer, this God.
Almost negating the entire argument of, the if it's bad design, the dis-teleological argument. It's kind of like any design shows intelligence.
Yeah, I say to my students, if you got 99.9% in your maths exam, you would be ecstatic. But if you're designing a spacecraft and you got 99.9% right, it's a total disaster. You have to get a million details right and not get one
that's what we
single
were saying
one
earlier.
wrong. That just gives you an
Well, can you
idea
pause
of
for a
the
moment?
great
Okay, so bear in mind, I'm not an engineer, but aren't there systems on rockets, for instance, that are like, and chat, if anyone is, I'm sure you guys probably know more about this than I do. Aren't there systems for like when things go wrong? So like, if one of the engines like fails to fire,
Yeah.
then there's like
they're
like a
called
in case it happens.
backup systems. That's what they're called.
Right.
Because they're backup.
But you wouldn't, but like obviously you wouldn't need that if you got it 100% correct, right? Like what
Yes.
would be the point of the backup system? That
Mhm.
just seems to be contradictory.
Yeah.
And that's true for lots of things, right? I mean, lots of things have, have like backup systems or backup generators or, what have you. It's like if everything worked 100%, you wouldn't need these.
Mhm.
The very fact that things don't work 100% and you expect that is the reason we have these things, right? Am I off on that?
No. Just take a car.
Ima-
There are
it's-
warning lights
Yeah.
in your car. What if things go wrong? The same thing
Right.
is with everything designed. So there will be a system checking whether or not everything is working, and there will be other systems in place in when you're talking about things like a satellite
Mm.
that could fix things if they go wrong. So no, it doesn't work that you don't have to nail everything, because that's
Yeah.
what the backup systems are for.
Yeah, to that effect, Cell says, "Imagine an engineer pretending not to know about redundancies." Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. I don't. This is a very weird argument. I'm not. I don't know. It's weird.
Okay.
Anyway.
challenge of design. It's super tough.
You really do have to get it right. And okay, so just to kick us off here, here's another frustration for me. Tell me if you've thought through this. I'm like, here I watch atheists online, or I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling through Instagram Reels and I see an atheist talking about God being a bad designer. And I'm like, dude, you're 20 years old, you're 30 years old, you're 40 years old. I mean, how much universe design experience do you have? Like, have you ever designed an entire...
Dude, you're on a phone made by men.
Bad argument.
A thing that you couldn't find in the Bible because God couldn't make those phones. God didn't make anything that humans can make. God couldn't write a book, couldn't build a boat for Noah. He couldn't do anything. What are you talking about?
No, and that's really, again, like God is omnipotent and omniscient.
Yeah.
God can do all of these things easily.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. He can do virtually anything. If you can do virtually anything, anything that's non-contradictory, of course, then I don't even understand what the point of this argument is. Like, if something is badly designed, we can infer that things are badly designed because we know what good design looks like, right? We can make, when we make, computers, for instance, everything has like a specific function, and if and there we have everything set out just the way we need it to work.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the way your body is set out.
If God was a good engineer, he would have invented the wheel, and Adam and Eve would have a bicycle when they were sent out of the Garden of Eden, and then this guy would have a bicycle ridden by Adam and Eve to reverse engineer to make his Olympic team win, because that would be the best bicycle ever.
Peter, Adam and Eve wouldn't drive a bicycle. They'd have a Flintstones car.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
They'd put their feet through the floor and run.
No, but that didn't have wheels.
Yeah, it did.
No,
it had wheels on like the front and the back, didn't it?
It had two giant rollers.
Yeah, those are the wheels. Yeah, the rollers.
Yeah, like the things you use in the kitchen. I don't know what they're called to flatten your dough with. I mean, but those aren't wheels. I mean,
yeah, it's close enough. It's a spinny circular thing. You know, it's fine. You get from point A to point B. All I'm saying.
Yeah, if you walk fast enough, you can get from point A to point B. But I strongly think that if you had two of those massive wheels made out of rock, and you'd have to have some hard rock as well. So granted, that's not a light material. So yeah, getting from point A to point B.
What can we say?
Walking would be easier, Jackson. Trust me.
Peter, I'm going to rename my show.
Jumping
is not an engineer.
Jumping on a horse would be easier. Just saying.
Well, I mean, they had they had dinosaurs and stuff. They could ride the dinosaurs.
The Flintstones didn't have horses, right? They only had dinosaurs. Which is I don't know if you're aware, one of our more famous. Well, he's been quite silent recently, but we did have this guy called Feuerstein. I don't know if you remember him. The guy.
Oh, Josh Feuerstein.
Yes. Feuerstein.
He's running for office.
Yeah. Feuerstein is a young Earth creationist. Feuerstein is also German. It's Feuerstein. And guess what they call Fred Flintstone in Germany? At Feuerstein.
What do they call him?
His last name is actually Flintstone.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Josh Feuerstein is actually running for a public office. I saw recently.
Yeah, a guy who wants to have his 5-year-old kid carry a gun should not run for public office. We have shootings.
I agree.
We have enough shootings already.
Yeah. All right, we can keep going.
A rolling pin. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, Dragon Spartan 90 official.
And RJ.
Yeah.
They both said it.
Oh yeah, RJ did say it as well. Yeah. Flintstone didn't have wheels, he had rolling pins. He could make pizza, but not a bicycle. Okay, let's continue.
Universe that has to work and a globe and an ecosystem and an engineering a human body that has to be able to take in and I just think of everything that goes on and I'm like, how dare you in your ignorance mock God and talk about poor design. So anyway, maybe I'm
how dare you in your ignorance not know why the earth is a globe?
Yeah, I mean, if Eric is going to be true to the Bible here, the Bible has a flat earth.
Yes.
It paints a picture of a flat earth. If we're taking it literally. If we're not taking it literally, okay, fine. But the ancient Hebrew mythology that incorporates Genesis is a flat earth surrounded by like a dome.
And it uses the word for a circle where in Hebrew, they did have a word for globe. But keep in mind, this guy is the son of a famous doctor who, and I will post it back on Twitter because I watched it recently again, and I think it needs reposting. His dad and our good dear friend who says that there's air in space,
Matt Powell?
Yeah, Pat Towell.
I mentioned that on Matt's show yesterday.
Yes, I mentioned it on our show that he was the one saying that in a debate
Yeah.
with you. So no, but
Yeah.
they were on a live stream where Hovind explained that a square is not a real thing. A square is a concept because even if you draw it with a pencil, the thickness of the lead on the paper would make it into a prism.
Okay.
So squares are actually prisms.
Well, I mean,
He taught high school
I guess I
science
see what
for
he's.
15 years.
I
Squares
mean, I
are
guess what he's
prisms.
saying is you can't generate a perfect like 2D object in 3D space. I guess
Yes,
is what he's
but
trying to say.
even if it has some thickness to it, it wouldn't be a prism. It would.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. Yeah, I don't know. He's just a silly guy. He's just a silly guy.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
He's a great
Anyway.
engineer, just like God. Sorry.
Step on toes too fast there, but that's what comes to my mind immediately when I think of those that are trying to make fun of God because they say, "Oh, well, that's poorly designed, and that's poorly designed," and "Oh, yeah, well, how come the birth canal is so narrow for women, causing pain?" And they have these arguments, and it's just
That's
frustrating.
actually a really good argument.
I think that's I think it's
Wait,
a good
pause for a
point. I
second.
get frustrated.
Yeah.
But that's actually a really good argument. Why is the birth canal so small that causes so many people to die in childbirth if not for cesarean sections? Like, yeah, what the
Yeah.
heck, man? that seems like really. That's the reason. For anyone who's not aware, that's the reason that like your brain balloons in size after you're born. You have to do a lot more brain development because if you did all your necessary brain development as an infant or like a fetus, you wouldn't be able to get out. So you have to get through before the brain development really kicks in.
Isn't it also the reason
now,
why your skull bones haven't fused completely?
yes, yeah, you still have like
Because
the soft spot in your head, yeah,
yes.
because yeah, your brain or your skull hasn't fused completely, yeah.
But
exactly.
Jackson,
of course,
this is intentional design because God, after Eve ate from the fruit, told her she would suffer pain in childbirth. So this is intentional
Oh.
design.
So
Yeah.
wait, so hold on a second. So it's not. Wait, okay, so is it still? So God intentionally caused it. So he
Yes.
intelligently caused bad design. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I just want to make
I'm
that
not
clear.
sure if Eric is going to mention that, but yeah, that is in the Bible. So let's see if
That's
the
right,
atheist
yeah.
knows the Bible better than Eric, because he should mention this, having brought this up.
Yeah.
I've been working in academia and engineering for 40 years, building
Cool.
things in my lab. And over that 40 years, my faith has just been completely confirmed. And it is so incredibly clear that God is a genius designer. There is no bad design in the natural world. And not just that, but many of my colleagues would agree with me. I've been so amazed at how many academics in private will say that they actually believe in intelligent design, and they will admit that all the evidence points to an intelligent designer, but they won't say that in public.
Let's pause.
Just not something you're allowed.
Okay, so I hear this claim a lot, and I don't believe it. I just simply don't buy it. I'm calling him a liar to his face. This is on the order of the claim that like Frank Turek loves to say, where he says, oh, I had a debate with some college student because I'm too afraid to debate professors. And I said, you just want to believe in evolution because so you can sleep with your girlfriend. And the student collapsed onto the floor and the entire room applauded. Like, no, this isn't real. This is just a lie. Maybe you know someone else in engineering who agrees with you. Cool. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that there are other creationists or intelligent design people in academia. But like to this pretending that everyone agrees with me, they're just too afraid to say it. Like, this is nonsense. This is bogus.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the scientists who I know in the real world are religious. They're not atheists. Most of the scientists I know are not atheists. I can't speak for, the internet people I know, but like, so they believe in a god, but they're not arguing that intelligent design is true. They acknowledge that their belief is separate from the science that they do. Oh, read your comment above. Why Immutable says, why did God make hyenas give birth the way they do? They basically have to push the baby through a tube to have it exert the female's uterus.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good point. Origami Swami says genius designer, says the guy wearing glasses. Yeah, there's that meme with Ken Ham.
Yeah.
That's like something to that effect. It's like says eyes are perfect, wears glasses.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, no, I don't buy this.
Yeah, and we might
RJ
have
said,
to remind him that in the US, in the Bible Belt, you have the highest amount of teen pregnancies and recurring teen pregnancies, is because this is in the Bible Belt where people believe in God and they want to just have sex with. Wait, doesn't track, does it? Because
yeah,
it's one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard. Because you want to have sex with your girlfriend.
Yeah, it's so, and yeah, of course, the reason for that is, that a lot of schools teach abstinence-only sex education, which doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
which is why we have the highest rates of repeat teen pregnancy
Yes.
here in the South. Several of our states have the highest. It's not just one; it's like three of them. Yeah, RJ makes a good point. I can imagine a few percent have closeted views, just as a few percent of preachers no longer believe what they preach. Yeah, exactly. And I agree. There's probably a few creationists or intelligent design people he knows in academia. Okay. I don't, that's not a surprising thing. But the everyone agrees. No, they don't. No, they just don't. Sorry.
And in all fairness, having spoken with Ken Miller,
yeah,
you can
who's
believe,
a Catholic.
Yeah, you can believe in a God and still believe in evolution.
Yep.
Sadly, I wasn't there when Mary Schweitzer was on Orange Channel. Another person who's a devout Christian.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But does believe in evolution and changed her position from young Earth creationism to old Earth creationism with evolution after her findings. So it doesn't rule out God, because I think if you wanna argue for an omnipotent, all-powerful being, that being could install evolution. That being could create a universe where life would just arise all by itself, because that would be much more difficult to do than just to poof it into existence.
Right, and that's what like the day age people and like the old Earth creationists, they believe stuff like that. Fazal Rana also, since you mentioned Mary Schweitzer, did a really good book, and Fazal Rana is an old Earth creationist. He wrote a really good book on the preservation of organic biomolecules, or just of biomolecules in the fossil record. It's titled Dinosaur Blood and the Age of the Earth. It's a really good book. Highly recommend it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Cell says, and the few people who are closeted are more likely to seek out other people who agree with them. Yeah, which is skewing the sample. Yeah. Yep, I agree. That's a good point. Yep. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, you have to create an echo chamber, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yes. Right.
To do in academia. So then it's frustrating to see the person on the street say those things that are just not true.
The person
Especially
on
when
the
they're
street.
learning
Okay.
it from these guys in academia. I mean, you know
Exactly.
people that are actually teaching this and trying to say and teaching an entire generation of kids that they are poorly designed, or this or that is poorly designed, and in my opinion, completely lying to the kids, telling them a false statement. But you have any examples of that?
So, pause for
Definitely,
a
yes.
moment.
I mean,
So, I just want to be clear. Some things are well designed by natural selection and sexual selection. Like your brain, and eyes, things like that. There are lots of things that are very, uh, that are or have been selected over millions of years to be good at their jobs, at their respective jobs. That's certainly true. No one's saying that everything in our bodies or everything in the natural world is all really bad. No, no one's saying that. That's not true. We're saying that some things within our bodies or within other organisms are evidence of suboptimal design, right? That's what we're saying. We're not saying everything is, just that some things are, but there shouldn't be even some things that are suboptimally designed if they were designed by an omniscient, omnipotent creator. So that's the point. Not
Yeah.
Eric's brain. Very true. Yeah.
A perfect being wouldn't settle for a creation that isn't perfect. We can
Right.
even argue that a perfect being wouldn't settle for creation, period, because it was perfect. So what's creation going to add to perfection? Nothing.
Mhm.
A perfect being wouldn't have created
Yeah.
anything. And one of the things that annoy me the most is that they will keep telling that teachers will lie to the children. No, they're not.
Yeah, I hate that.
They're stating
Yeah, I really hate it.
they're stating the facts that you can check for yourself to be true. And when new evidence comes in, they will change what they teach based on the new evidence that comes in. Another thing you can check. So, yeah, no lying involved.
Yep.
Continue.
Yes.
Nathan Lentz, he's an academic at City University, New York, and he's
Oh, hey,
written a
another
whole
guy.
book called Human Errors, and he claims that the human body is badly designed from head to toe. For example, he says the foot is badly designed and the wrist joint
For
is badly
bipedal
designed.
walking, yes.
But I've been writing against him. I've published journal papers pointing out the errors of his book. It should really be called Lentz Errors, not Human Errors. He writes about
Actually,
things that are not even in his
pause
field.
for a sec. Pause for a sec. Let's see. Lentz, errors, Stuart, Burgess. Okay. Poor design and lol. Okay. So, would anyone like to guess where Burgess quote published his rebuttals? It was in Biocomplexity. Now, for anyone who's not aware, Biocomplexity is a fake journal. It's not peer reviewed. That is owned by drumroll the Discovery Institute.
Mm.
So he publishes non-peer reviewed papers in a non-academic journal.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the audacity now to say, oh, he's publishing outside of his field. Bruh, so are you. You're an engineer. You are not a physiologist. You are not an
No.
anatomist.
No.
You are also out of your field. And actually, I'm just curious, Nathan. Okay, Nathan Lentz. Sheer curiosity, what is Nathan's background in? What is his background in? Okay, he's author. Oh, okay. Hey, Peter, would you like to know what his work has been in? Cell biology, genetics, and forensic science. Now, of the two of them,
obviously he doesn't know a thing about evolution with that background, right?
Yeah. So of the two of them, between the engineer who does nothing in biology and the biologist, which of these am I going to believe on
Yeah.
biology? That's really tough. It's very hard to figure out.
Well, he had me when he said I have written against this person because we know that there are badly designed things even in humans. So
Sure.
how on earth would you argue against that? What's the basis?
Yeah.
What's your basis for me having a bad back, for instance? I would really like to hear how my back is perfectly designed yet it's still not working. Tell me.
No, Peter, you're not understanding. It is perfect. You've just been infected with the devil or something. I don't know.
The reason I have a bad back, by the way, is something that happened in the military where I was supposed to pick up. I was in part of the field hospital, and I was supposed to pick up medicine. I thought I was picking up a big box with large bottles of fluid, therefore heavy, when in fact it was a large box with bandages, all kinds of light stuff. So I braced for a heavy box, which was light. That snapped my back and is still hurting me to this day. So now tell me where the good design part comes in. Because I didn't even get a bad back through heavy lifting.
Yeah. Oof.
Well,
that sucks.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we can continue.
Geneticist. He's not an expert in biomechanics, but he claims the
Neither are
biomechanics of the
you.
human body are bad. But I've been working in that field for over 30 years, and I've pointed out
Wait
the
a minute.
basic errors in his book.
Have you though?
Basic.
You have
Everything that
he made the solar array that he talked about earlier. That's biomechanical.
like he said, he mentioned the bicycle stuff, but I don't really know how that.
Which is also not biomechanical.
I mean, I guess to some degree it is. I would say to some degree that's biomechanical, but I don't know how the like outward motion of like this thing, like if you have to move your legs in a particular way, like okay, sure, that's biomechanics, but you don't have to know the inside of like how your legs work and stuff to be able to do that. I don't think. I don't know. But also, yeah, he's a forensic scientist and a cell biologist and geneticist. So I'm pretty sure he's got some expertise in human anatomy.
For the things that he does, just a rudimentary idea of how the human legs work would be sufficient in order to create maybe a better bike. Because it's not about the human leg, it's about how the bike is created.
Right.
Which gives you the advantage.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
Nah. He's not working in that field. He's using a tiny part of that field to do the work in the field that he's in.
Yes.
So
yeah.
He's on lying to students.
Physics side of the biomechanics. He's on the mechanics side of the biomechanics stuff.
Yes.
He probably has bio people who inform him on the biology stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway.
Saying that the human body is badly designed. I published a paper in Biocomplexity in 2022.
That's the Discovery
just going
Institute
through all
journal.
the errors of his.
That's not a peer-reviewed paper or peer-reviewed journal. He published in a creationist journal. So I don't want to pretend like this matters. It doesn't. This journal is not cited by experts by experts in like any relevant field, because it's not peer reviewed. It is just the Discovery Institute's incest journal. That's all it is. In the same way that Creation Research Quarterly is like, the journal for creationists to publish in, or the Answers Research Journal is for Answers and Genesis people. Like, that's all this is. That's literally all it is.
And
I give it no weight or credence at all.
And it's inherently dishonest to let people believe that where you publish is on the same level as where actual scientists on the matter publish. That is inherently dishonest. If you're talking about lying to the people and lying to children, this is exactly what that is.
Right, yeah, it's not like he published like his rebuttal to the book in like PLOS One or PNAS or Science or something. No, he didn't do any of that. You can read reviews of books in journals. I think I have one.
And also, fun fact: if he had published it, and if he was right, it would be common knowledge that he came up with a better explanation for the flaws in the human body, that they are not flaws. So that would now then be consensus, wouldn't it?
Here it is. So here's a review of... So, for example, to give you just a counterexample, here's a review of The Evolution of Beauty, which is by Richard Prum, an ornithologist. And this review is by Patricelli, Hebetz, and Mendelssohn. And it's in a journal. It is in the journal Evolution, which is a prestigious peer-reviewed journal. So, it's not impossible it's obviously not impossible to publish reviews of books in journals, but you have to actually publish them in an actual journal. So, anyway. Yeah, it's just dishonesty. It's really pathetic.
It is. It's every creationist you can catch on a lie. And we've caught them on several already.
Yep.
It's not hard to do.
His book. So there's a real debate and battle going on in that area. And what's unfair is that there are lots of books out there attacking the design argument. So if you're an academic, you're allowed to write a book attacking the design argument, but you're not allowed to write a book supporting the design argument. I've written several books.
You're not allowed to lie about it.
Academic institutions have tried.
Actually, you are allowed to write a book
you're not allowed to lie about it.
Well, you are allowed to write a book about the design argument. There are tons of books about intelligent design. None of them are banned. Like, I don't know.
Well, sure, you can write them. Yeah. But it doesn't matter,
That's the thing atheists do not tend to do, is ban books. Whereas Florida, never mind.
Yeah.
So, another lie.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you can attack the design argument because it's a really bad argument. If you say, the peacock's tail plumage was designed by God. Well, why? Well, he thought it was cool. I don't know.
For the glory of God,
or
Jackson.
We have this other
for the glory of God.
Right, for the glory of God, right. Or, alternatively, we could, show that, well, it's part of this theory called sexual selection, which we have really good mathematical models for, and we understand it to a very large extent, how it works in birds and bugs and fish and mammals, and it requires no design at all, actually. It's entirely unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not allowed.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would disagree with that. But
there is such a thing as emergent design. The flocking of birds, for instance, those
right.
are cool shapes in the sky. That's an emergent property of birds flocking. You wouldn't see those patterns with a single bird. There's no design. Right. God doesn't guide the birds through the air to make those cool shapes in the air. God's not involved.
Smitty says God likes for dude birds to look fly. Mm-hmm. Very true.
Yes. Okay. Continue.
Yes.
Tried to stop me from publishing that book, and I've said, well, why can't we have the other side of the debate? It's a really strange thing.
It's almost as if there's an agenda. It's like they don't want a fair debate because they know who would win. So in my mind immediately goes to, they know the consequences of losing this debate if they lose.
Hold on. No. Again, more lies. You can publish your book. Nobody cares. Go ahead. Publish it. Get the royalties. Go ahead. Now, what's going to happen is you can publish it. Then people are not going to take it seriously, or they're going to write rebuttals to it. And then you're going to get mad. And you're going to be, creationists typically say, oh, they all know my book is right. But nobody accepts it, and no one reads it anymore. But mm-hmm. I wrote about this thing, and it's very serious. Okay, whatever.
I would
like Jonathan
say
Wells' stupid book.
I would say if you're going to write a book that is going to be talking about how evolution is wrong, give it at least a good title, a title that covers everything that is written inside the book. And then, I mean, Ken Ham nailed that. He called this book The Lie.
It's like Snakes on a Plane. They forgot to change the title
yes.
from the working title. You know?
Yes.
But no, being made fun of does not mean not allowed. Yeah, exactly right, Smitty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is the persecution narrative, or what I like to call persecution porn. There's no evidence for it. There's no evidence you're going to get. I mean, look at Michael Behe. Michael Behe still works at Lehigh University, even though, the university had to put out a statement saying we don't agree with him, but he still works there. They didn't take his job from him or anything like that.
Anyone told Ben Stein?
So, well, it's not good for the narrative, Peter, so we can't do that.
Damn. Yeah, that wouldn't work. And he's still peddling the same argument that has been debunked by science and has been debunked in a court of law. His stupid, irreducible complexity, and he's still peddling that same thing after being debunked over and over and over and over and over again. So we can conclude that he is a liar. He knows he's lying because he's been proven wrong so many times it's not even funny. Shall we continue?
Okay, we can continue.
This debate. Okay, now you got to say, okay, God does exist. I'm accountable to him, and there's a whole ripple effect of repercussions by allowing that debate to actually take place.
Wrong, because even if that were the case, and you would say God does exist, it still doesn't mean that it's your God. It still doesn't mean that now we're accountable and we have to follow the rules of the Bible. It still doesn't mean any of that. Because now you get to the more difficult problem that you face, is telling us why this particular God is your God and not the God of any other religion or gods of any other religion. Because we also have religions where we have gods that are actually specialists in their field, gods just creating specific things, being responsible for specific parts in creation, which would at least be closer to the scientific method by having specialists do the things that they're the specialist in, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jackson, but he,
I don't know.
this is a non sequitur. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
even if evolution is wrong, even if any of that is wrong, it still doesn't mean that your God is real. We're not closer to your God being real. It just means that
Yeah.
if evolution is wrong, we don't have an answer for the diversity of life. That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rant.
No, you're right.
Okay, so we're about halfway. Just to let you
Okay.
know. So this is
Yeah.
probably going to
We'll
be
have to finish it next time.
yeah. This is going to be a two-parter.
I think what you said is absolutely correct. I once had an amazing conversation with an academic who was not a believer, wasn't religious at all. And I was talking to him about intelligent design and origins. And he said, Stuart, I just want to be really frank. The real reason I don't want to believe in intelligent design is I would have to change my lifestyle. That's the real reason.
That is a lie. That is a lie. I want to know. I want to know the name of this academic, and I want to check this story because I can tell you right now that never happened.
Are you kidding me? He's literally just as bad as Frank Turek.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We even joked about this, literally this exact line a few minutes ago. We just joked about this and he just did the thing. Oh my god.
Yeah. And can we just can we just say that
I've lost all respect.
This is why the story started with I once talked to an academic. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the order of detail you're going to get about this guy that he supposedly talked to. Yeah.
And that academic's name was Charles Darwin, correct? Yeah. I saw him on his deathbed. Yeah. No.
He's
Oh my
he's
God.
talking about and now I'm terrible. I'm terrible. So can you tell me the black guy who was fighting for equal rights? Reverend. Oh damn.
Oh, Martin Luther King.
Martin
Jr.?
Luther King. Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
what happened to you. I had a dream. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a dream. Savage, Pharaoh's favorite Clovis Point Cobra for $2 says, I was taking a shower with the Berkeley professor. Oh, lucky you. What is it? Dapper likes to say, when creation on Dapper's show, when creationists tell a story that definitely didn't happen, he says, when they mix up a conversation they had with a Berkeley professor with a conversation they had with their shampoo bottle, take a drink.
Mhm.
This would be when we take a drink. So yeah. Oh my god, I lost all respect. Okay, maybe not all respect, but I lost a lot of respect. I mean, the satellite stuff is still really cool.
It is.
But
It is.
man, oh man, this is
and even the bike thing is cool because I've seen people
that is cool.
redesign things because I'm Dutch. I mean, there are more bicycles in my country than there are people because people keep stealing them and then you have to buy a new one. But no.
For my country, it's guns.
Yeah, but so there are cool inventions that make bikes better. I get that.
Yeah.
And I will respect someone who comes up with something that makes our life easier because it's still one of the things that gets the Dutch people around.
Yeah. Man, that's really disappointing. It really is. Oh well.
And I thought, this is
Such is
incredible.
creationism.
His honesty was really incredible. There is that agenda behind it. And ultimately, it's a spiritual battle. It's not to do with where does the evidence lead, because so many evolutionists are not interested in actually following the actual evidence.
That is well said. That is insightful right there. That is something that, for those of you
Calling
watching,
the silverware black, as
Yeah.
Oren likes to say,
Name
is
me
what that
one.
is.
Name one. Name one evolutionist
Name one.
who isn't going with the evidence. Where's the sinister porpoise when you need her? Cetacean needed. Oh wait, did I say that?
Cetacean needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
lies upon lies upon lies. If that is what you need to make us believe in your God, you don't have an actual argument.
Also, Darwin invented the gay, apparently. That's a thing.
Darwin invented the gay.
Smitty says Darwin finally admitted on his deathbed he was wrong to invent homosexuality. Oh, wait. Peter, entertain them for a moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Darwin didn't invent that. There are several. So we do have Roman couples buried together. I think I'm not entirely sure if that's still a thing, but we also know that being gay was a thing back in the time of the ancient Egyptians. That was a thing too. That was, I think it was slightly before Darwin. I don't know.
Penguins weren't gay until Darwin taught them in the Galapagos. That is good information to know. I'm glad that we are spreading all these true facts today. I'm very glad.
Who taught the bonobos, though? Who taught the bonobos? Now I want to know. Now I want to know.
That was probably Jane Goodall. No.
I'm going to. So this is a good thing, and I can hit dishonest commercial here. So next Thursday, right before we're back doing part 2 of this one, at 3 p.m. Central, my good friend Robert Reed and I will be talking to Natalia Reagan, and I will ask her who made the bonobos gay, because I need to know now. So, and for those who want to take a trip to Madagascar, there are still tickets. We will be talking about that as well. So
nice.
That was my juggling for the moment.
The bonobos taught Darwin. Oh,
that's okay. That's just bad.
I could believe that. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Anyway.
So sometimes you get into the debate and you get into, oh man, look at all this science we got, and I'm just going to present this, and it's going to change their opinion. And you realize after talking to a few people, or maybe one person or a lot of different people, you realize, okay, hang on. They should be seeing this information, and this should change the way they think, and it's not. This isn't
Is that
the
why
head issue.
creationists have to constantly lie? Is that why creationists are always lying about the evidence? Like they can't tell the truth to save their life about the arguments they make? Is that why? Is that why, Eric? Is that why you lie all the time? Or Ray Comfort? Or Kent Hovind? Or Ken Ham? Or Nathaniel Jensen? Or who's that guy Erica's been pillorying recently? Jeffrey Tompkins? Why do all of you lie?
Well,
why can't you tell the truth?
I have the answer to that, Jackson. Because the guy who started everything that led up to Eric's religion, a guy called Martin Luther. Remember him? The guy who nailed the
99 Theses, yeah.
Yes. So he wrote this sentence that it's okay to tell a good, strong lie, make people believe in God. So that's basically what Eric is doing.
Well, yeah, lying for, yeah, lying. Anyway.
Hashtag lying for Jesus. That's it. Okay.
Issue. They don't want to believe in God. Wow. I tell you, I remember, and I want you to go through some stories or some design arguments here, but I think of when I was in Tallahassee, Florida, the state of Florida was voting on the new standards for biology, and they were voting whether or not a standard goes in there that says evolution is the underlying principle of all biology. And it was this big debate in school board, or the state school board and everything was voting on whether or not this is going to come in. And they had people lined up to talk, and I didn't get there in time to talk. I would have enjoyed that.
Good.
So we sent emails to them. But one of the ladies that was on the school board said she was, went to school, and sure enough, she trotted out this little, oh yeah, my professor so-and-so talked about how poorly designed the human eye is. I mean, it's obviously not designed. And that was her like, okay, obviously evolution is true then. If it's not designed, it had to be evolved. And evolution is a bottom-up mechanism. So okay, we got to get into this because there's a lot of people with that kind of thought process. And some of them are on school boards. And for this one, it was on the state school board of the state of Florida. And it's affecting literally millions of kids' education for the last.
Let's pause for a moment. Okay, so I'm glad that Eric did not get the chance to go and talk, because based on the way he said that, I don't think he's a resident of that area. So I don't think he should have been able to talk on that anyways.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong. Maybe he is. I don't. But the way he said that, he said we didn't get there in time. That seems to me to indicate that he's not like a parent with. If you don't have kids in the public school system, you don't need to be engaged with, I don't know, the public school system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like Betsy DeVos was the head of the Department of Education under Donald Trump, and she had never put a child through the public education system.
Oh,
that just seems like a recipe for failure.
There's a worse example. Remember Kitzmiller versus Dover? The guy who bought the books of Pandas and People? He was on the school board.
Okay.
Didn't have any kids in that school. Never had.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
that
seems to be a recurring theme.
And can I just say, can't we get rid of school boards? Can we make it so that the curriculum on a school is
so
made
like a national standard,
is made by people who are actually qualified to talk about the topic? So we can have mathematicians decide on the textbooks on math, and we can have biologists come up with the correct textbook for biology. Can we do that, please, instead of having parents who know nothing?
Well, so what happens is you do have a math or a group of mathematicians actually write the textbook, and then it is incumbent on a group of elected officials, to decide whether or not to implement that textbook. And yes, I agree. So, I agree that we shouldn't democratize learning that way, because obviously, you could have a group of creationists on a school board, and that does happen.
Yes.
And then they could decide, oh, well, we're not going to choose this textbook because it has too much of an emphasis on evolution or something like that.
Or have people read a statement that it is just the theory. Something that still gets me mad. Someone walking up in class, reading a statement off of a piece of paper that, keep in mind, this is just the theory. You don't have to take it serious.
Well, we did have in Louisiana a case over that. So you have to be, or the creationists have to be more careful about it nowadays, because in 1987 we had this case, Edwards v. Aguillard, that was about whether or not it's okay to have like a book with creationism in it, and that got shot down. There have been other, and I don't remember what case it was. There was another case that was like creationists, tried to put out a statement on the textbooks, or like a sticker on the textbooks that was like, this book has evolution in it, that also got shot down. That's unconstitutional.
Yeah, but I like Ken Miller's idea about that, because Ken Miller said that didn't go far enough. The sticker itself didn't go far enough, because he would have included that, yes, evolution is a theory, and yes, it's an ongoing process, and yes, please check for yourself whether or not the facts in this book are correct. But check them in academia. Don't trust anyone who's not in academia to talk about these facts. So make sure that if you want, that you check all the facts that are listed in this book, whether or not they are actually facts. I like that idea because that's teaching people to learn critical thinking. And so we should have that.
Pragmatic Crystal says Edward v. Aguillard case in which the U.S. Supreme Court on June 19, 1897 ruled that a Louisiana statute barring the teaching of evolution in public schools, unless accompanied by the teaching of creationism, was unconstitutional under the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's basically the 1987 Edward v. Aguillard case was what basically caused the intelligent design movement, because they were like, okay, well, we can't just say creationism anymore. We got to call it something else.
Yes.
We got to call it C-design proponentism.
Yeah. We have to
RJ
put
says
it
that was Cobb
lab
County in Georgia. Was the sticker one was Cobb County in Georgia.
I do think that rings a bell. So, okay, now I have to say we are 9 seconds off of being on the exact half of the video covered.
Let's do it.
Well, have you looked at the time?
Yeah, I mean, we got 7 minutes.
Okay.
We'll do one tiny clip, one little bit of clip.
Yeah.
And we'll get out of here.
He's looking up as if he needs help from God. So let's put him out of his misery, shall we?
That was 2010. So the last 13 years that's been happening. So let's go into design and reverse engineering and what really happens. Teach us.
Yeah, I mean, just to make a quick point on that, evolution is actually bad for science, because if you really
Peter,
believe
I was
in
wrong.
evolution, you wouldn't.
I was wrong. I was wrong. He just opened so many cans of worms. I was wrong. I'm so sorry, Peter.
He opened the can of worms factory.
He sure did. Oh my goodness. My bad, folks. Peter, can we start like 10 seconds before next time?
It is, yeah. Okay. So,
Oof, my bad, folks. I next time we come on, we'll start with that one. Oh man.
Okay. No problem.
Peter, you were right. We should have just left it. We tried to go a little bit further.
As I said, I didn't watch the video, so I didn't know what was coming right now. But yeah,
it figures that when I say like, oh yeah, just one little tiny clip, it'll be fine. He's like, evolution is bad for science. Okie dokie.
Yes.
Or what's that mean? We don't have time to address all of that, you know.
And can we just state that we're halfway through the video, which means we're 17 minutes in, 17 minutes left. And now we get to the topic that Eric announced at the start of the video. So all of this, we could have skipped and have double the time to talk about the topic. But
you can blame us if you're watching. I mean, because we didn't know. We don't watch these in advance.
No. Remember the one where we
think they deserve.
Or remember the one where we got shut down, where we did 3 or 4 videos on the Joe Rogan with Stephen Meyer interview, and so
the thing was they didn't even talk about anything.
They didn't talk about the topic that was the title of the video.
Yeah, there was like, I mean, yeah, he kind of talked a little bit here and there about intelligent design, but it was like, it was all theology stuff, and like there was nothing about biology in it, so it was very boring.
It was talking about God and Jesus, and we were sitting here doing 6 hours.
I delved
getting
too greedily and too deep.
Strike after strike after strike, making Jackson nervous because even though they put it back up, but
Savage Pharaoh's favorite Clovis Point Cobra for $2 says this video could have been an email. That's true. It could have been an email. I love the Bernie Sanders picture where he's like got his little mittens on. He's just sitting there, and the look on his face at the inauguration is this could have been an email. So
Yeah,
it's very funny. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I was too greedy. Yep, I was too greedy. I tried, but it was a bad idea. And next time we don't have time to unpack all of that.
we
So
might
we'll
need
unpack it next time.
more shows on this one. Hopefully, we won't get a strike. Although I'm not sure. I don't think Eric.
I don't
Eric
think
is the
YouTube
kind of guy.
cares enough about.
Yeah, I think Eric is smarter when it comes to that than other people is, because if people are going to mirror his videos, even if he gets bad reviews, he will still get attention. So I think that's where Eric is on all of this. But yeah, it's
Bree, you show up in the last like 5 minutes of every show that we have.
Yes, and then you
are
ask,
not allowed to ask if you're late.
And then you ask, am I late? We have
first of all, how dare you?
Yeah, we have to have a strong word about this, Bree. And I say
I don't know what
I say this knowing that I'm almost never there when Bree is live, because I either do a show with Arn at that time or I'm asleep. But I do watch.
Fair.
I do watch. And we have Maya Atkinson. So I want to do a little shout out, because I feel bad I can't ever watch Maya go live. Maya does this show on Sunday, which is called Bad Science Sunday. You should jump over there sometime, Jackson. I think.
What time of the day is it?
Maya, tell me what time of the day that is, because then I have to do math.
Because I do work on Sunday.
Well, this is. I think it's.
I breached the Sabbath.
You breached the Sabbath. So, off of the top of my head, I think it's 8 or 9 p.m. your time, I think.
Oh, 8 or 9 p.m. my time. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that. He said, I've been here for 4 minutes. Well, 45 minutes. Okay. Yeah, every Sunday at 9:30 p.m. But is that Eastern or Central?
Central time? Yeah.
Because we go by Central time, because that's the center of time.
Correct. Yeah, I'm at the center of the circle.
Yeah, for me it's just easier because
it's 8:30 our time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So so people who haven't watched Maya's show, go watch Maya's show. She's doing a good job as well, combating bad science.
Yeah.
So we have bad Science Sunday and the BS playlist. You could still say that the BS stands for bad science. Also be something else.
Yeah.
We should blame the guy who came up with that title. Who was that, Jackson? He made the intro as well. Bad guy.
Peter, the call is coming from inside the house.
Yes, I think so too. But yeah,
Eastern is the real time. No, fake news. Central is the real time. I can't help that you're a bunch of time traveling heathens.
Eastern claims to be, because those are the people who have to wake up first, and they're still annoyed that they have to wake up first. So the people on Central still have it nailed. They can talk to people who get up first and people who get up last, like RJ.
I'd be happy to come on. Yeah, right. Yeah, RJ's at the very end.
RJ is so big.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to come on if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to see that happen. So, if you want Maya, I'll shoot me a DM, or but you guys can get in touch on Twitter, right? You're both on Twitter.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem. Make it happen, Maya. So yeah. Well, I'm going to do a quick commercial still because I just love the person that I'm going to be talking to next week, which is Natalia Reagan. We're going to set it up so Natalia can come on Jackson's channel as well. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. And if you want to know how much fun, check out the thumbnail. The show is up already. If you're gonna, oh, hold on. There we go. That's how much fun it's going to be. So, see, I can do things. And obviously, we're going to be there with.
I maintain that it looks like a rom-com. It looks like the movie poster for a rom-com.
Well, she has been in a few movies as well, so it could be a movie poster. He also famously was a hooker in My Name Is Earl. In the episode,
yes, you told me that
in the episode, yes. Earl's Band, I think was it. I think that was the name of the episode. At least the one where Earl had put the band back together. She was one of the groupies.
Mm.
And she famously worked with Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson. So, and she's a fun person, a really fun person to talk to. And if you haven't seen her, check out the description of the show that I just posted the thumbnail of. All of the links are there, so you can follow her on Twitter, on YouTube, you can go to her website, and she's pretty much everywhere. And you check out what she's done so far. It's pretty amazing, actually, for one person to do all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see. I probably won't have any new videos published by next Thursday. It's a very hectic time for me right now. But we just did the Cichlids Tale, so go check that out if you're one of the 10 people who like the Ancestors Tale series. Otherwise, I think we're gonna sign off for tonight.
Okay.
Oh, you're on you enjoyed my appearance on Matt's show? Well, thank you. I enjoyed doing it. It was fun. I had a good time. So
yeah, and
alrighty. Well,
another fun fact: Stephanie has also been on the line, which
okay,
good job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Alrighty. Well, thank you everybody for watching, for being here tonight. I appreciate all of you, and we will see everybody next time.
Bye, everyone.